Don't you just get tired chasing fame?
The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Hello, and thank you guys for tuning in to Heavenly Sent People You Should Know. I have the honor and the pleasure to interview. First of all, you guys are my first father and son duo since I've started this, so I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you for having us.
So, Mr. Day, let me tell you how I met you. So one day, probably a year ago, my son was telling me. So I played basketball in college, right? So I got the college background, and so my son was like, "Mom, you seen Day? He scored 65 points in one game." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "That sounds like something I do." What you saying, right? No cap. I promise to say no cap. So he showed me the video, and he was like, he showed me the YouTube video, whatever it was. He was like, "Mom, I gotta meet him. I gotta go to the game. We gotta." So, him being my only child, I had to make it happen. So I thank you, Darren, for reaching out via Facebook, letting me know day next game. And so from there, that's how it started. But here is just a clip of what I'm talking about, an event that somebody out there don't know who Day is for whatever reason.
Right.
Let's see how this play.
I remember, dude.
All right, so they get the picture now. So with that being said, Day, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
So I've come to a couple of your games, and I must say I love your humbleness, and your parents are in the audience rooting for you. That has to be something special for you, because not a lot of parents support their kids. And so to go to the games and see your parents in there, what does that mean? What does that mean for you?
Them just being every game and stuff, doing high school and stuff, just made me like want to go harder. Just seeing them in the stands, me just want to just show them that I could do what I could do. So them being that helped me go harder for real.
And so I tell parents all the time, because I got a youth organization, and so I don't know how to reiterate how important it is for the kids to look out and see their parents in the stands. I mean, it means everything. Most of the time, these kids are out here trying to figure it out. And so once the kids find something that they enjoy doing, it means everything. I think I went to like a game last week. Little boys was like 5 and 6. And so the little boy he had the, I think if he made the shot, they won the team, right? Won the game. And so I watched the little boy, he was at the line, and, he looked in the stands and glanced over to his mother. And I looked, when he looked, I looked, his mother was there, and she gave him a thumbs up, and he smiled, and he made the shot, and I was like, wow, that was something. Yeah, that was something. So my next question, Day, for you is, how do you handle yourself mentally before and after the games?
I just pray that everything go well. With God being on my side, I just think that everything that's gonna happen is meant to happen. So
I love it. Dad, what advice do you give your children? Because Day isn't your only child, correct?
Right. I got 4 more.
And so what advice do you give your kids?
Well, mostly be prepared. Don't go into no situation unprepared. The things that they have going on. I tell them, don't go into it unprepared. Because if you unprepared, then you never gonna make it. So always be ready. Be ready for everything that can happen in the choices that you make and what you're gonna do in your life. Like I tell him all the time, work hard. Don't worry about different things that's going on with other stuff. You work hard and everything that's supposed to happen gonna take care of itself. Miss Sandy, can I say one thing?
Please do.
I heard a tragic thing happen to little Jeremy Fears. He was shot.
Oh wow.
And I want to send our prayers out to his family. We know Fears Senior and his mom. We know them, and we praying for them.
Absolutely. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. Dede, I understand that your mother, or maybe I should say women, are the first females that a man or child, I'll say a child, will encounter, because your mother, your mother is the first woman you meet, right, growing up. And so I tend to look at the relationships that young men have with their mom. For me, I think if a young man is in tune with his mother, his relationships moving forward with women and in relationships will be that much more meaningful. So with that being said, what's the best advice your mom has given you?
Just treat everybody with respect. Treat everybody the way you want to be treated. So I just keep that with me. It don't matter who in front of me. Just treat them with respect.
I love it. Wow. So what do you think about your game? Do you think there are some things you need to improve?
Right now, I need really everything. I mean, I'm good at stuff, but I could be better.
Good
So
answer.
just getting better and perfecting my craft, everything I do. That'd be good.
So was your decision to go to the college now? Which college are you playing for?
Kansas State.
Kansas State. Was your decision to go to Kansas State challenging, or you already knew prior to that's where you want to go?
Yeah, I already knew when I walked in the building.
Love
How
it.
the coaches were just truthful. Everybody around me was nice to me. So I felt like that was the place for me to be.
How many offers did you have?
Like 21.
Wow. So Dad, what's your advice for parents that's considering or in picking a college for your child, for their child? Like, is that a difficult, like what are the things that, because of course I'm sure you and mom had a say so
Of course.
decision. So with that being said, what advice would you give, or how what does that look? What did that look to you back then?
Well, I think the main thing is trust you and your family, because I'm gonna be honest. Out here, it's a lot of people that's just out to for self, to knock around the kids or whatever, and get what they can out the kids and things like that. And we didn't bow down to what was going on. And we had the coach Tang, who was recruiting us. We had a coach who believed in us and didn't believe all the flack that was going on about us and stuff, and that's what really helped me, the wife, and Dede to choose Kansas State, because we didn't let outside influences get on us, and I know you got you talk a lot about mental health and stuff like that. Me and the wife, we really had to watch Dede back then, because of the pressure that was on him. People don't really realize how much pressure it is on, and I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but on an elite athlete.
I agree.
And it's a lot of pressure on them to perform, a lot of pressure on them to choose the right way to go and all that. And then when you got coaches and people in his ears saying things, you know, that disrupts what he's trying to accomplish. And it got so bad where they said to me, Dad, I don't want to play.
Oh no.
You know, and he had never said that to me in his life.
Wow.
You know, and I just felt like, you know, I felt like people was taking his joy away. Was taking his joy of the game, his happiness, and I believe people was taking that away, you know.
Wow.
And, you know, I tell parents all the time when I talk to them, there's nothing wrong with getting advice from people about certain things. But like, cause me, I was learning on the go myself. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really know everything that I was doing, but I had people, you know, mostly the coaches that I listened to was coaches that was at Morgan Park from back in the day.
Okay.
Like Coach North Turner, AJ, Coach Terry, them cats that was really had Day at heart. You know, them coaches that wasn't calling me all the time, but they only called me to say, hey man, is Day doing all right? Look, this is what you gotta do. You know, that type of stuff. You know, I was listening to people like that who was telling me how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? If you weren't telling me how to navigate, I wasn't talking to you.
And that's important. You're helping people because,
right.
Like you just said, at the end of the day, it's the family's choice. You know, after the smoke is gone, after he's settled in school, you know, it's you guys that's, you know, still.
We got to live with this.
Exactly. So I totally appreciate your transparency because a lot of times people don't talk about that, and that's important. You know, like you just said, pressure bust pipes, and so in the midst of, you know, and then as parents, we see things that our children don't see. And for the most part, we're fighting battles that they will never see. You know what I'm saying? So before it gets to him, your mom was blocking it. You know, your mom was talking about it. So he'll remain focused. So I appreciate you saying that because that's what people don't talk about. You know, you see them playing basketball.
Right. And you don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
We see the players, we see them at signing day, we see all the schools. But yeah, so I appreciate that, and thank God for you.
Let me say one more thing. I should tell people. I say, let some of these kids walk 2 weeks in Day shoes. You know, back when he was in high school, and y'all could not handle it. The things that he had to dismiss, not do. You know, just the things he couldn't do in order to make it to college. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, and then the things that he had to do to make it to college made it even harder. It's a whole lot of things that this kid sacrificed and just held back on. You know, it's tough.
So with that being said, Dede, how were you able to navigate the gangs and the violence and the girls and all that stuff that comes with just being an athlete?
Why, that's funny.
You know, right? He overlapped, didn't he?
Nah, really just me staying out the way and just being in the gym every day. And I like when I was at Morgan Park.
Wait, Dede, if you could scoot over 1 foot, there you go. Yeah, right there. Thank you.
When I was at Morgan Park, I'd go to school at like 9, and we had practice till like 9 p.m. So I wouldn't get home till like 10. So really, when I get home, I went straight to sleep. So I wasn't really nothing else to do for real. So that just had me staying out the way and just staying in the gym.
I love it. What would be your dream job? If you could do any kind of work or anything, what would it be?
NBA.
NBA? Okay. Is there a team you like to play for?
The Bulls.
Really?
All right.
Who's your favorite player?
Kyrie Irving.
Who's your favorite football player?
I don't really watch football. I don't watch football.
Okay. Who's your favorite rapper?
Herbo. Lil Durk. Top 2.
Okay, that sound like something my son to say. Who's your favorite female singer? And don't say Sexy Red. Don't say that.
Wait, what was the question?
I asked him who's his favorite female singer or rapper.
Oh, okay. I don't even know them.
Probably Summer Walker.
Who was that?
I don't know. I know, right?
Know.
Yeah, me either. I gotta go and listen to a video after this. What do you consider a good friend, Dede?
Somebody that tell you the truth, even when the truth hurts, keep it real with you all the time, and show loyalty.
So, Dad, what he just said, from high school up until where he is now, did you see any negative influences around him as far as friends?
Oh yeah, plenty, plenty. But you know what? I kind of dude. I ain't gonna put no, but dude, there was some people that me and your mom used to sit back and say, "Oh, this dude ain't this dude not right." But I tried to focus more on the guys that was cool, like Jaleel and all them, and and Trey. That's another kid that's coming up. Trey Dotto, he go to Oakland. He gonna be a mean something. But anyway, but yeah, those cats right there, he would call them and they can talk for hours. And I done heard Jaleel tell him, "Man, you ain't nothing, man." You know what I'm saying? And that's a friend that you need right there. Somebody that'll tell you, "Chump, you still a chump. I still, and they'll get out here and grind it out some, So cats like that, and I'm cool with their parents and stuff like that, So I try to concentrate and send him walking towards that type of relationship instead of them cats that wasn't about it. Because you Miss Cynthia, I'm telling you, it's rough when he got friends that don't understand what he got to go through in that basketball thing.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the girls. They want him to call them all the time and come spend time with them and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now he want to hold his head. But he don't. He focused. He trying to get some on.
I love it.
So it's like I don't get involved with that part of it because that ain't got nothing to do with me. In a way, but I will let him know. Look, that girl ain't about it. Right, I'm not gonna get into that too much.
And you know what, you're right, and that that you are blessed to have a father and a mother in your life who's helping you navigate the opposing forces that's out here. Because like I just said, a lot of times as a parent we see what the kids don't see, and so like they said, stay focused, and you're on assignment. You have a gift that many people won't understand, and you can't go everywhere, and you can't go to all the parties and all the stuff that that you get invited to, because you have a bigger mission. And so if a person don't understand what your calling is and what you own, then like your parents said, that ain't the person for you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to get in trouble, hard to get out.
Sure is.
For real, for real.
Well, he's seeing that at K-State now. He's seeing that.
So since your dad mentioned that, so how what's the difference between, or what are your experiences from being at Kenwood to now being in college?
The work way harder. Basketball wise.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean as far as like the plays or just the basketball in general? Because you got the game.
Yeah, not the plays. It's like we just work out more, basically. Work out way more. Like I have access to the gym 24/7. Like at Kenwood, I didn't have that.
Got it.
Like, it was a lot of like other activities going on, but like out at K-State, you can go to the gym anytime you want. So you can spend the night in the gym.
So how are you getting along with your new teammates?
Yeah, they are cool.
Me and my son watched one game. I can't remember what game it was, and so he's on my heels about taking a plane to see you play. I'm like, son, the tickets are like $500. Like really, but yeah. So I just thank God, because my son real laid back. He's the only child, and so once he focused or mentioned somebody to me, I know that there's a gift, because my son isn't like an outside kid. He real laid back, humble, not much for words, and so he sees something in you that now I'm focusing like, okay, he's like, Mom, so your dad had sent me the schedule, so I sent it to my son, and he got this phone. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. Where he watched the games, and after the game, he'll tell me how many points you scored or what you did. And my son is, I think, 15 years old. So I appreciate, you being a role model for young men and women that's coming up in the game. And you're from the West Side, well, not the West Side, but you're from Chicago, so that speaks volumes. And so, with that being said, what advice would you give someone who's trying to navigate and want a career in basketball and trying to get to college, and with all the stuff that's going on with our Black and brown communities?
Well, I say stay out the way for sure. You don't got to be hanging out with everybody. You don't got to fit in, do none of that. Just stay true to yourself. And watch what you post on social media too. They look at all that. Any little thing they can put on you, it can mess up your scholarship instantly. So watch that. And just stay out the way. Keep working too. Stay in the gym.
Can I tell you a story on that?
Please do.
Look, his now I had this guy helping me with his recruiting. So
and wait, so when you say helping you with your recruiting, for those who don't understand, because like you mentioned earlier, the whole process was new to you. So it's a lot of parents out there who are clueless and just pretty much focusing on whatever the coach say and not doing their own research and not reaching out to nobody, or don't even have people to advise them which way to go. Right. So can you be a little more transparent when you say helping you with recruiting?
Sure, I can. Well, like I didn't have nobody helping me and Day and wife. We trying to get him to college. I told some people to help me, and I'm not gonna use no names.
Please don't. Thank you so much.
I asked some people to help me to recruit him, and they didn't. So I went and this lady, her name is Kimberly Rucker, country woman. She worked for Dream Scouting. Okay. Country white woman. I can say her name because she good people. Okay. But she called and
there's a scouting firm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And she called me and she wanted to get into basketball. She heard about Day and she started helping me. Matter of fact, she was in a car accident, and then one of her co-workers, his name was Mike Brown. He started helping me. He was the one that got Coach Tang, who was at Baylor at first, to call us and start talking to Day about recruiting. Well,
so
he came.
When you say helping, you mean help like talking to college coaches, putting you
right.
in okay.
Well, okay, like Kimberly was there first, so she got us like a ton of offers.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? But when it came down to when she was in a car accident was what happened, and Mike Brown took over, and he called me and asked me, well, what do you think about Baylor? And at the time, Baylor was still the champions. Okay. So I was like, what? I'm like, that was a dumb question. So then he said, well, I'm going to get them to call, blah, blah, blah. They called Day. Coach Tang got in touch with Day, and Day ran downstairs. Dad, it's Baylor. And I'm like, oh, my God, now we talking to Baylor. So it's like, that's really what we was concentrating on. But
now, where's that? Where's Baylor?
It's in Texas, Waco, Texas.
Okay.
And Day was, Coach Tang was talking to us and back and forth like 2, maybe 3 times a week. And then all of a sudden he called the school for some film, didn't get it. And all of a sudden he stopped calling. So I ain't gonna get into that.
It's important to send people.
Right. It's important to have film of your kid.
So who would do that? Do you hire somebody? Is that something the coaches do, or how does that work?
Look, most schools film, like Kenwood films it.
Okay, got it.
And they can put it on social media or whatever. And what Tang had to do, he had to get the film from another school. For some odd reason, whatever. Okay, I'm coming back. So those things right there are so important for the parents to just seek out the help. I mean, you can listen to the coaches sometimes, but you also gotta do your research and understand what these coaches are about. Because even to this day, you got coaches saying that they helped Day get to Kansas State, and I want to know how. You know what I'm saying? I want to know, how did you help Day get to Kansas State when that was me and him and her, and you know what I'm saying? These were things that we had to go
Who's her?
about. Huh?
Who is her?
My wife.
Okay, say that then. Okay,
My
say
wife.
that then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Behind every good man is a what? Okay, say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
But you know, she even though she, you know, we both was in the dark. But like I said, I never relied on people to do anything for us, because when I ask you to do something that's within the realm of what you're supposed to do as far as like a coach or a mentor or whatever. Shout out to Coach G, who always was in our back, had our back as far as pushing Day, Fatty and all them. You know, them was good people. But the way things went, I'm glad they went that way, because now I can sit back and say Day made the choice of where he wanted to go. It wasn't me. It wasn't my wife. Because had Day said, man, I don't want to go to K-State, Day wouldn't have been at K-State.
Okay.
You know, I kept it with Day, because when all the basketball is done, he still got to go to school.
That's true.
So if you don't like the school, what you going to do? You're going to be ready to come home.
That's true.
You know, and we're not coming home.
That's true.
You know, we trying to get something accomplished. We trying to get something done. So as long as you got to stay there and work and do what you got to do to improve, everything else will take care of itself. Like I tell him, I don't care if you don't go to the NBA or overseas or whatever. You know, when you get that education, if you can work in broadcasting or whatever you can do, you're going to be successful. I don't care what it is, because that's just in you. You know, his taste too expensive not to be successful.
My son be showing me some of his Instagram pictures.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You know, so it's like you can't do nothing but be successful, or you're gonna be homeless and starving, because you know we can't do that.
You're right.
So that's pretty much I sure hope the parents just pay attention to the little things that be knocking. I mean, it's ridiculous about how some people will challenge everything you do. Because I know people was acting like I made they go to Kansas State and stuff just on the strength that I was, when you know, everybody had this undertone of, well, it's just Kansas State for now. Well, you know, it's early, he ain't signed nothing and all that stuff. You know, they had that undertone of it ain't gonna be Kansas State in a minute. So when you around me and you talking like that, I say, no, he going to Kansas State. So they took that more or less like, oh, well, he must be making them go. No, I was showing my son I had 100% of his back. That's it. Because when he said Kansas State, I said Kansas State. You know, I had a coach say, tell a college coach, well, you know, ain't nothing official till they sign. Nigga, he going to Kansas State. You know, he finna sign in November. I don't know what the problem was.
And see, and like you just said earlier, that shows the relationship that you guys have as a family. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's easy for a kid to be manipulated. You know what I'm saying?
No, not him.
It's easy. And so
Right.
the fact that you and your wife stood on what it is that the decision he made just made it that much easier. And for that, you were able to say, no, Kansas State is what it is, and
Right.
it ain't nothing to do with you. It's
Right.
Day's choice. So,
And I was proud of him for sticking to his guns. You know, he didn't let nobody come in his ear, and you know, and I kept telling people, just because I don't say nothing, don't mean I don't know nothing. You know, so I know what y'all saying and yapping and all that stuff. But that's really what got to him. You know, as far as not wanting to play, because it seemed like everybody was attacking him. You know, and like I said, it's like they took his joy. Shout out to Miss Calloway too, because you know that's the principal at Kenwood, and that woman is just spectacular.
wow.
You know what I'm saying? She would look out for Day and make sure Day was good, and you know, because I had a conversation with her about everything that was going on, and you know, she didn't take nobody's side. She just stepped in and took care of Day.
That's what it's about.
You know what I'm saying? And that woman is just
Of the century.
yeah, she the principal of all time.
I'm happy to hear that. So Day, the jersey at your school, are those jerseys for sale? yet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my son, I gotta buy my son one. You gotta sign it before you leave.
I got you.
So my next question was with, like your dad and your mom just made mention, you got this
She said made mention.
this wardrobe, right? And so if you won the lottery, or if you got an inheritance for, I don't know, what's a good, I don't know, $1 million, what would be the first thing you would buy? The first thing you would buy. The first thing.
Probably some buildings.
Okay. What's that? Investment, real estate. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm happy you ain't say a chain or a car, because I be telling my son, like, see. I knew it. I was
He got it.
It's, I guess it's the American way. They gotta have it.
Yeah. All them kids got that stuff. You know, it's like
Hilarious.
they go crazy. As soon as they get a little money, they gonna get them a chain, and and it's like, dude.
Okay, so I gotta show this picture, because
like my oldest son said, I can't say nothing.
Remember that picture, Day?
Yeah.
I had to show it.
Yep.
He's like,
That's you and I saying.
he always like, if it weren't for me, I'm like, dude, shut up. And so also, Day, earlier on, you mentioned that you mentioned God, which lets me know that you are a God-fearing man, and your parents have instilled in you the gospel. So I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that. And so, with that being said, tell me your favorite Bible scripture or your favorite story in the Bible that you can relate to.
I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me.
Dad, what's yours?
Mine is that's my baby right there. Boy. I tell you, that's my baby.
That's the shortest one in the Bible, ain't it?
Right. No, me and her always play like that and stuff. You heard her. But no, I think my favorite Bible thing is in James 1:8, when it says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So, I just always remember that, because I have to always stay on point.
I love it.
Especially with this stuff, I had to always be on point, always thinking and watching cats, because it's just, literally, I'm vetting people as we go along.
Wow.
I'm talking to people about who is this, who is that, who is this, who is that. Shout out to Breezy, who been, real cool with Day, and I think he a good brother. I kind of wanted him to, when Day on senior night, I wanted him to get up in there with us, because I consider him, a good cat with us. And he told me, he said, "You didn't ask me, Pops." And I said, "Man, what, I got to ask you to come join us, man? You family?" Because that's just the way my family is. Like, we don't send invites. We just talk. And then when it's time to do it, well, you didn't say nothing to me. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Either you come or you don't. Because you knew what it was. So ain't no invites. Like, we not making nothing official. Like, okay, you're invited and all that. If you heard about it, come on through. That's the business.
Love it. Day, what's your most memorable game?
The game I had 65 in.
So who was that against?
Some school.
I think it was like,
it was a prep school.
South Summer. Some school. Yeah.
How do you score 65? Well, first of all, what was the score? Let's start there. What was the score of that game? Well, do you remember?
It was like 80 something to like 30.
No, y'all had 100 and something.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know he had like 44 at halftime.
The little bit I watched, you were passing the ball. I mean, other players were getting.
Yeah, he had like 8 assists.
Wow.
So it was like we were sitting there and like he didn't play but 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Okay.
I was 6.
No, it wasn't. It was like 3. It was like 5 and a half minutes.
Like 5, 6 minutes.
That's what I said. I said you played 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Right.
So me and my son came to the game when you played against
Hyde Park, wasn't it?
We was at Hyde Park game, but the game with the Caucasian school.
Right.
Was that Bennett?
Yeah, because you was I think he was across the way or something.
Yeah. So, my son is playing basketball, right? And so I try to keep him in a diverse atmosphere. And so by me playing college ball, I was totally used to that. And so I used to go to all North Central College games. And so when we got to the game and he seen all of those Caucasian kids, the gym was packed and they was chanting, they was just all over the place. He was like, wow, mom, I can't believe it's I'm like, yeah, you got to be ready for that. So, you got to focus. And so you can't, like you advised him, you can't let the outside forces get the best of you, because it's deeper than the people that's around. Your parents are kind of like your filter to make sure what's outside don't get in, so you can stay focused and do what the Lord calls you to do. And so with that being said, and then matter of fact, they didn't even have benches for y'all. They had y'all sitting on the bench because we were literally right behind y'all.
Right.
And so and it was packed, and cars was all on the grass, and we had
she talking about up there. Remember we couldn't find no parking spot up there. Yeah,
we ended up parking on a hill somewhere.
Right.
So DJ Wagner, is that the boy that you played against?
Mm-hmm.
So what's so crazy is that we met him after. My son was telling me about him, and so after I guess y'all played, we had met him at some event, and so my son was like, "Mom, that's the guy that." So how was that? Because I know everybody's like, "Oh, the day they playing against DJ Wagner," and so how was that game for you?
It was a fun game. I knew I was gonna go out there and kill, so
okay.
It was fun.
Okay, how many points did you score?
28.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what school does he go to?
Camden.
Okay.
So that was I ain't okay.
So was he so what made him, like, what was his ranking to whereas they was comparing him to Day? I missed that.
He was ranked number 1 at the time.
Okay. Interesting.
So it was like they had met before and Day had him doing spins. So when they came up here, I don't think that was the AAU team when he met him before. This was his high school team. So when they met him, I don't think the school really knew what day they had until like the second half. Then in the second half, they started triple teaming him and stuff. So Day plays good basketball. So of course he get the ball out of his hands, which is what their plan was, to get the ball out of Day hand. And if he would have had if a couple of guys would have had a couple of better games or whatever, they could have really stuck it to him. But they just couldn't score too much in the second half. So, but I think that the team was competitive. It was just they was tired because during that time they had like 4 games straight, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then they had one Tuesday also. So that was just a lot to ask for a high school team when you playing 2 games a week basically in high school, and now you got this week where they playing 4 in 5 days. That's like kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. So
can you elaborate on the importance of perfecting your game outside of just practice? Because most kids think that they go to practice with the team and that's it, that's all, and it stops there. And even as far as let me ask you this: are you on some type of diet, or is there certain things you don't eat? Are you eating the flaming hots? Are you eating all the little crazy stuff? Because these kids don't do it. I'm like, you have to. It takes more than just practice. You got to do it out off the court. So can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Like if you just going to practice, you're not putting no extra work out of that, you ain't gonna get no better, because practice is not enough. Like you need that one-on-one time by yourself to get better. And on the diet thing, I eat everything, so I ain't even gonna lie. Chips, candy, I eat all that.
But that ain't good though.
No, it's not.
Nah, it's not good.
And they do be down there at Kansas State trying to, they got dietitians.
Nah, but sometimes it is like if you're trying to gain weight, that's good to eat. Like it's good to eat a lot.
No, chips and
yeah,
pop.
The chips part. Now I don't drink pop.
Okay, not the sugar, because the sugar the sugar mess you up. You start joints and legs and all that. It slow you down. So as far as in the weight room, how often are you guys in the weight room?
Every day.
Every day.
For about how long? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Like, but when we wasn't in season, we was in the weight room for like an hour, and then during season we in the weight room for like 25 minutes.
I be trying to tell my kid he just want to go to practice and think that's it. That's all. We got a whole membership to export, and every time it's time to go to export, he tired or whatever excuse he come up. I'm like,
Now I literally just started lifting though in college, like really lifting. I just started lifting.
oh wow,
Yeah.
interesting. So, Daddy, have you played any other sports or just basketball was it for you? You just
I played baseball when I was like
6.
he said 6.
That's about it though.
You know, that's that little T-ball thing.
Oh yeah.
He played that when he was 6. He didn't. Well, he liked it, but I think it was just sitting in the field. He didn't like sitting around. You know, he was more an active kid, running around the hallway in the house and stuff like that.
What was your favorite superhero growing up, Daddy?
Superman.
Superman. Why Superman?
Because he was the strongest.
Yeah, Superman was the.
What if I have never seen what do you call it? I don't even know what that Marvel super whatever. I've never seen any of that.
Really?
Marvel, nothing. I just never really crossed my path growing up. So I always asked that. Yeah, I know, right? All right.
You never used to watch the Super Friends growing up or nothing?
Never seen any of that stuff. I was big on the Simpsons. That's it. That's all. Like the Batman, the Spider-Man. I haven't even seen Black Panther yet.
You need a whooping.
I know that's my son said the same thing. So one of these days we'll watch it together. So Day, we got about 15 more minutes. So what do you see? What do you see happening with your team next season? Because right now, what do you play? Are you shooting guard or point guard?
Point guard.
Point guard, okay. But what do you see happening for you next year? Or what do you want to see?
A national championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they can do it too. If they get they just released one of their better players, but if they can get somebody of that caliber of a big, then plus Coach Tang is just an incredible coach. You know, he like a mastermind with basketball. You know, I mean, if everybody really just pay attention to half the stuff he be saying, and you know, he didn't even believe that when he got down there, the knowledge that he started gaining just from playing with that dude, playing for him. You know, it's like he called me one day. It was like, Dad, I can't believe it. You was right. I didn't learn nothing in high school.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that. Unfortunately,
yeah. He was like, man, I learned so much since I've been down here. You know, and like his defense just then went to another level. You know what I'm saying? And offensively, it's starting to come around. You know, but he a freshman, so
exactly. Right.
You got 3 kids that's ahead of him. You know, so right now he in a role. He playing a role. You know, which I'm accepting all that. You know, even though I know Dede can do, you know, what he do, but right now he in a role, so we got to go with that. And I really do like the way Tyler Perry and Cam them have gravitated to taking him under their wing and showing him how to do things. And you know, Dede is just real. He like a sponge when it comes to this type of stuff. You know, to be cliche-ish or whatever. He just listens and tries to learn everything. You know, so later, you know, as the games go on, he's getting better with the. You know, it's hard to steal it from him anyway because he's a ball handler. You know, but once that confidence come where he's ready and willing to start scoring and letting the ball go and stuff, you know, that's when things gonna start happening for him, I believe. So
Dede, what do you think as far as players? What do you think will help you in regards to your team?
What you mean?
So, for instance, you're a shooting guard.
point guard.
I'm sorry, point guard. So, do you think that I'm trying to be mindful of how I answer this question. I mean, how I answer the question without saying what I'm saying. Okay, let me rephrase the question. So, Do you think everybody in your team are playing their role in regards to you being a freshman? Because like your dad said, you still got a lot to learn. You fresh on the team, you still trying to find your way. You trying to understand the team and how you fit, and making sure everything lined up how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I feel like everybody doing their job right. Like there's 3 freshmen on the team. We all just trying to learn, gain the knowledge and stuff, defense, offense, what's going on the team. And I think the upperclassmen is doing a good job of showing us the ways, and the coaches too. So
I was looking at the video that they put out when one of your coach was giving you great accolades, and then they interviewed one of your players, and I think they asked him something about what kind of game do they got, and he said something like, "Well, I'm glad to be playing with them because I wouldn't want to be what do you say? I wouldn't want to have to stick them," and so I thought that was funny. So that
Right,
says a lot.
right.
That says a lot if you got players, you're a freshman, and you got players, saying that about you. So that's saying that you're doing your part. And I like your humble spirit, the fact that you said it is, where they need to be, and you guys are still learning. So that's awesome. So let me ask you this: how many players on your team from Chicago?
nobody.
Nobody.
Oh wow.
He the only one, which is cool. I don't mind that, because if they ever come to Chicago, ain't nobody looking for no tickets but us.
Right. There you go. Right. Exactly. Right.
So we can get the whole, they allow us to get the other players tickets if they not using them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so we can get everybody tickets because nobody's from Chicago.
There you go. It's a win-win. It's a win-win.
Right.
So, what's the process for college players in NBA? Because I know they got like the D1 team. So do you? I don't know if you guys may know that, but I'm just curious because like the Bulls got they D League, right? And
G
so
League, right?
I'm sorry, G League. And so are those players like? Can a player come from college to the G League, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean you can go to the G League whenever if they let you in or whatever. But like when you in college, I mean you really want to get picked up in the draft. But even if you get drafted, sometimes the pros will send you to the G League just to get you better.
Okay.
So that's just the G League is like baseball's minor league.
Okay.
Basically, to me.
So necessarily not all people from the G League will make it to the
No, it's people in the G League probably been there for years.
Wow.
That's trying to make it. But they still not. They getting paid, so it's still good.
Exactly.
They still making money. Hey, look, I wanted to say something to the single mothers, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
The single mothers that's in this basketball thing that's got these elite basketball players. Find you somebody that you can trust. That's going to be in your corner and tell you right from wrong, because single mothers get ate up out here.
I'm sure
by these coaches and people that will literally try to separate their kid from them.
Wow.
Just so they can have a hook in them. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because see, the whole thing was, I mean, it was trying to be done to Day. You know what I'm saying? But Day got a strong father that can fight. So that stuff. I'm sorry, Miss Cynthia. But that stuff wasn't gonna happen. But single mothers, especially those that don't know nothing about the game, they'll pretty much be like, okay, well, you got them. Go on, do what you gonna. Don't do that.
I appreciate your parents' because you're helping people, because there are some single parents out here that ain't got a clue. So you ain't saying nothing wrong. But
don't let nobody just take control of your kid. Don't do that. If you got to learn the stuff on your own, do that. But don't let no coaches, no nothing just come in and say, oh, I got them. They all say that. Don't believe it. I got them and all that. Had I waited for the coaches to help Day probably would have been at Barber College right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going. I look at it like this. If I fail, that means he gonna fail. And if he failed, that means I failed. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't live with that as a father. I tell them all the time, all my kids, y'all can't stop me from being daddy. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna always be daddy. So when I see something that's not right, I'm always gonna step in.
I like that.
Whether right or wrong, I'm always gonna step in. So, and I don't care if you're rich or poor or whatever.
I like that.
Because I don't need nothing from none of them. You know, I'm good. Me and my wife, we good.
I like
You
that.
know, but
Nice.
you can't stop it. But single mamas, just be careful. You know what I'm saying? Because learn this stuff, especially if you got an elite player. Learn how this stuff go. Keep your child close to your bosom, as they say, and don't let nobody grab a hold and just separate y'all, because they'll say some stuff, man, that'll just. Whoo, I'm telling you, it's tough.
Wow.
Tough out here.
So I need to take my camera and start filming people and getting some footage of these young kids.
Well, I don't know. See, it's hard to say, because kids don't really know half the time. You know, they just listening, and you know they come in trusting people. You know, like I told Day all the time, you trust people too fast.
That's what he think. That's just because I don't say nothing, so he think that.
Right, but you know, if I talk to you and you don't say, yeah, that dude kind of shady,
I'm listening. I don't gotta say that I'm listening.
You know what I mean, Miss Cynthia.
You know what? I can attest to what he's saying, because a lot of times I'm talking to my son and he's just sitting there just looking, and I'm like, dude, do you understand? Do you
Right. And it's like, we want to know, dude, like, you feeling me or what? Because this cat right here is on a different page than what we trying to be on. And, you know, and I done literally told people, y'all just the worst. But I'm saying, I just done a lot of things in order to protect him, to keep him from the things that could, you know, that could eat him up and just bring him into a place where I didn't want him to be, because I'm trying to raise a good man above all. You know what I'm saying? The basketball thing, that's cool and all that, but I want Dada to be friendly. Like I tell him, don't you ever treat a fan like they garbage. You know what I'm saying? You don't never like just walk away. Tell you a quick story. I'm like Bill Cosby, my wife say. But I tell you a quick story. We was going to a gym, and some kid walked up to Day who knew who Day was, and was like, "Hey, they got Day down here. What's up, my boy?" You know, and Day gave him 5 and stuff, and he was like, "Man, you talk to blah 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 and all this." And Day was talking with him like, "Nah, man, I don't really talk to him like that." He said, "Okay, well, man, I'm gonna call you later, blah blah blah." And Day said, "All right, cool, give me a holler." And we walked away, and I said, "Did you know that dude?" They said, "Man, I never saw him before in my life." But I told him, I said, "You played it right." You know, he
right now.
Right, he was with his friends, you know.
Good job.
So I told him, I said, "You played it right, because you didn't embarrass him in front of his friends." You know, because they could have said, "I don't know you."
That was cute. That was
you
cute.
know, but he played it right. He made his friends think that he knew him and all that stuff. I said, "You did the right thing." You know, we went on in the gym, but
as they say, capping, he was capping.
Yeah, he was capping like a mug. He was big time capping. But you know, they always, you know, he acknowledged that, okay, this dude is this and that. And that's why I always try to tell him, be a good person to the people, because they the one that's gonna get you where you trying to be.
That's true. You're right.
You know, so that was a good quick story.
Well, I appreciate that. So last but not least, is that anybody you want to give a shout out to, or anything you want to say, any encouraging words?
Shout out my pops, my mom. Shout out D-Rob, Uncle Sil, my brothers, sisters, and just everybody that's been with me this whole ride journey.
Sil a good dude too. He helps out a lot with us. You know, that's like our unofficial son. You know what I'm saying? You know, he good peoples.
Pops, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
You know, just though the wife, of course, you know.
Next
Absolutely,
level.
of course.
And Next Level 24, who was his trainers, you know, like whenever Jason Kent and Anna Kent and Jordan Fair, whenever he comes back, they always got him in the gym. You know, just people that's always navigated helped me navigate through this stuff, you know. Fatty, shout out to Fatty, you know, because Fatty was just one of them cats that just always told me the real, you know. You know, I ain't gonna cuss, but that's Fatty. You know, but
I'm gonna do something different. My show is targeted to men, but I want Mom to come around and say something because I'm just grateful to hear that there's a mother and a father in Day-Day's life, and that's common. So this is something. Hey, Mom, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. You've instilled in him what needed to be. You know, he's a humble young man, God-fearing, and I thank God for you guys being that protector for him.
Thank you.
I know, right? So is there anything you want to say?
No, like I tell Darren that he failed to mention this. I send him text messages, if not daily, quite often. Always keep God first. And everything else will fall into place.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And every time I would come to the game, I'll be way on the other side and she be leaving by the time I can get to her because, you know, I want to introduce myself. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys for taking time out y'all busy schedule to come and talk to me. Day-Day, I'll see you soon. We're going to have the jersey and you're signing for my son. You're going to make his day again. And so just keep up the good work and, you know, we'll be to see you soon. So again, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, an iNetworks Communications station.